Imagine waking up one morning to discover that every computer in your company has suddenly locked itself. Every file, every customer record, every financial document. Gone. In its place appears a simple message on the screen. Your data has been encrypted. Pay the ransom or everything will be leaked. For thousands of organizations around the world, this wasn't a nightmare scenario. It was reality. And behind many of these attacks was a name that became infamous in cybersecurity circles. The ransomware group known as LockBit. At its peak, cybersecurity analysts estimated that LockBit was responsible for a huge share of global ransomware incidents. Hospitals were forced offline. Major corporations halted operations. Government agencies scrambled to recover critical systems. But what made LockBit truly unusual wasn't just the scale of the attacks. It was the business model. Because LockBit wasn't just a hacking group. It was something closer to a franchise. Instead of breaking into networks themselves, the creators of LockBit built a platform. A platform where other criminals could log in, generate ransomware attacks, and split the profits. It was ransomware as a service. And at the center of it all was a mysterious figure known online as LockBitSupp. For years, no one knew who he was. No photographs, no confirmed identity. Only a username appearing on underground forums where he spoke like a confident CEO running a tech startup rather than a criminal enterprise. Then, in 2024, authorities finally revealed the man they believed to be behind it all. His name was Dmitry Yuryevich Khoroshev. According to investigators, he was the administrator and architect behind the LockBit operation. But the story of how he built one of the most powerful ransomware empires in history begins years earlier. Back in 2019, ransomware was already a growing threat across the internet. But most attacks were carried out by individual hacking groups working alone. Each group had to develop its own tools, find its own targets, and negotiate its own ransoms. Khoroshev saw an opportunity. Instead of operating like a traditional gang, he built something more scalable. A platform. Affiliates could join the network and gain access to powerful ransomware software. The system allowed them to generate attack packages with just a few clicks. Once a victim's files were encrypted, the ransom negotiations would begin. If the victim paid, the money would be divided between the attacker and the platform administrators. It was a model inspired less by organized crime and more by Silicon Valley startups. Suddenly, even criminals with limited technical skills could launch sophisticated cyberattacks. And the results were explosive. Within a short time, LockBit began appearing in incident reports across the world. Companies that had never even heard of ransomware suddenly found their entire networks frozen. The group developed a reputation for speed and efficiency. Their software was designed to encrypt massive systems faster than many competitors. But there was another tactic that made LockBit especially feared: data theft. Instead of only locking files, attackers would also steal large amounts of data before launching the ransomware. If the victim refused to pay, the data could be leaked online. To make the pressure even stronger, LockBit created a public website listing their victims. Each name appeared alongside a countdown timer: pay before the timer runs out, or the secrets go public. This strategy worked. Many organizations paid millions to avoid embarrassment, legal consequences, or operational shutdowns. Over time, the list of victims grew to include companies from dozens of industries and countries. Cybersecurity researchers estimated that the group had attacked thousands of organizations worldwide. Law enforcement agencies began coordinating international investigations to track down the people behind the attacks. Eventually, those efforts led to a massive operation known as Operation Kronos. In early 2024, authorities from multiple countries launched a coordinated crackdown. Servers believed to host LockBit infrastructure were seized. Websites used by the group suddenly went offline. Investigators gained access to databases containing internal records of the operation. It was one of the most significant actions ever taken against a ransomware network. The operation involved several major law enforcement agencies, including the National Crime Agency in the United Kingdom and the Federal Bureau of Investigation in the United States, working alongside partners from across Europe. For the first time, investigators gained a look inside the system that powered LockBit. They discovered lists of affiliates who had carried out attacks. They recovered encryption keys that could help victims unlock their files. They even released tools designed to help organizations recover their data without paying ransom. For a moment, it seemed like the ransomware empire might finally collapse. But cybercrime rarely ends so simply. Within days, new messages began appearing on underground forums. The LockBit administrator claimed the group was still alive. According to him, only part of the infrastructure had been seized. Backup systems and hidden servers still existed. Soon, new versions of the platform began appearing. Some affiliates attempted to continue operations under the LockBit name, while others migrated to competing ransomware groups. Meanwhile, investigators continued digging through the seized data. What they uncovered revealed a darker side of the ransomware franchise model. Some affiliates complained they had never received their share of ransom payments. Others claimed they had been cheated or cut out of deals entirely. The criminal business model that promised easy profits was apparently far more chaotic behind the scenes. But the biggest revelation came a few months later. In May 2024, the United States publicly identified the alleged administrator behind LockBit as Dmitry Yuryevich Khoroshev. Authorities accused him of creating the ransomware software, managing the affiliate network, and collecting millions of dollars in cryptocurrency payments. Along with the announcement came another dramatic step. The U.S. government offered a reward of up to $10 million for information leading to his arrest. The message was clear. One of the most wanted cybercriminals in the world had been named. But there was a problem. International cybercrime investigations face a major obstacle when suspects live in countries that do not extradite their citizens. As a result, even after being identified, Khoroshev remained outside the reach of Western law enforcement. And so the story took on an almost surreal tone. A man accused of orchestrating global cyberattacks worth hundreds of millions of dollars was suddenly known by name, yet still free. Meanwhile, cybersecurity experts warned that the ransomware ecosystem had already changed forever. The success of the ransomware as a service model meant that other groups quickly copied the idea. Even if LockBit disappeared completely, the strategy it pioneered had already spread across the dark web. New groups emerged offering similar services, tools, and affiliate programs. The digital underworld had evolved into something closer to an industry. Companies invest millions in cybersecurity defenses. Governments create task forces dedicated to tracking hackers. Law enforcement agencies cooperate across borders to dismantle criminal networks. Yet attackers continue to find new vulnerabilities. And every new technological breakthrough from cloud computing to artificial intelligence creates both new opportunities for innovation and new tools for cybercrime. Today, the future of the LockBit network remains uncertain. Some analysts believe it has been severely weakened by law enforcement operations. Others warn that fragments of the organization may still be active. But the bigger question may not be whether one group survives. It may be whether the entire ransomware business model can ever truly be stopped. Because once a method for making millions of dollars appears on the internet, it rarely disappears. Somewhere on the dark web, new hackers are already experimenting with the same strategies, the same tools, and the same ideas that made LockBit famous. And if history is any guide, the next cybercrime empire may already be quietly forming, which raises a troubling question. If one programmer was able to build a global ransomware franchise from a small apartment, what happens when the next one decides to do it better?